Hello dear students, today we will talk about magnetic properties of transition metal complexes. First, why to study the magnetic properties? Interestingly, the study of the magnetic properties, they can provide important information for structure and bonding in transition metal complexes. Most of the transition metals are paramagnetic due to presence of unpaired electrons. So mainly there are two types of magnetic behavior, diamagnetism and paramagnetism. Diamagnetism, substances having paired electrons, they are repelled by magnetic field, and since all the elements except hydrogen have filled electron shells, therefore some diamagnetism will be shown by all substances. On the other hand, paramagnetic substances are those which are attracted by the magnetic field, and they are due to the unpaired electrons. So, large the number of unpaired electrons, greater is the paramagnetic character. Now, most of the transition metals, they contain unpaired electrons. So, most transition metals are paramagnetic. Now, what is the origin of paramagnetic moments? The origin is both from electrons and nucleons. In nucleons, it is from protons. But the contribution of magnetic behavior from electrons, it is 10 raised to power 13 times than that of the protons. So that means we can neglect the contribution from the protons. So magnetic behavior is mainly determined by electrons. Now, electrons determine the magnetic behavior in two ways. One is the spin magnetic moment. It is due to spin of the electrons on its own axis, and orbital magnetic moment, it is due to motion of the electron in an orbit. So, observed magnetic moment, it is sum of spin magnetic moment and the orbit magnetic moment. Now, what are the units of magnetic moment? Bohr magneton. Magnetic moment of an electron of charge E and mass m, it is given by mu s equal to EH upon 4 pi mc. You all know that where h is the Planck's constant, c is the velocity of light. All are constants, we can put the values and we find that the magnetic moment due to spin only, it is equal to 9.274 into 10 raised to power minus 21 erg per Gauss. This value is taken as 1 unit of magnetic moment called the Bohr magneton. So we can define Bohr magneton as 1 Bohr magneton, it is equal to EH upon 4 pi mc. Now let's calculate the spin magnetic moment of a single electron. The formula is G under root S into S plus 1. Now what is S here? It is the spin quantum number. Now because we are talking about the single electron, so that means what is the value of S? It is half. Now putting the values, what we get? 1 by 2 plus 1, and we find that on solving it is under root 3. So that means for all the atoms, ions or molecules which have one unpaired electron, they all have same spin magnetic moment and its value is equal to 1.73 Bohr magneton. For more than one electron, how to calculate the value of mu s? By using the same formula, G under root S into S plus 1, but now here the S is sum of spin quantum numbers and value of G is 2. For example, for the metal ion, chromium ion, 4 unpaired electrons. So that means 4 into 1 by 2 S, and mu s on putting the value 2 into 2 into 2 plus 1, we get it is equal to 4.90 Bohr magneton. In case of manganese ion, there are 5 unpaired electrons. So that means value of S is 5 by 2. Mu s is equal to 5.92 Bohr magneton. Now we can simplify this formula also. Since G, the gyromagnetic ratio or the G factor or Landé G factor, it is equal to 2. So mu s, it is equal to 2 into under root S into S plus 1. It can be written as 4S into S plus 1 Bohr magneton. Alternative formula in which we can directly introduce the value of number of unpaired electrons, it is mu s equal to n into n plus under root 2 in Bohr magneton. For example, for chromium ion, number of unpaired electron is 4. So that means we can directly put 4 into 4 plus 2. values comes out to be same 4.90 as we have calculated with this formula. Similar is the case with the manganese ion. So what we have calculated above, it is magnetic moment due to spin only. But orbital motion, it also contributes to the magnetic moment. So total magnetic moment, it is denoted by mu s plus L, means contribution both from the spin, so S is the resultant spin angular momentum, and from the L, that is the resultant orbital angular momentum, and the formula is 4s into s plus 1 plus L into L plus 1. Let's have a look at the table. The table here is showing the magnetic moments of some metal ions of the first transition series. So here there are ion, scandium ion, titanium 2 positive, vanadium 2 positive. Outer configuration, it is 3d 0. So number of unpaired electrons are 0. Outer configuration is 3d 1. Number of unpaired electrons are 1. Similarly, we have 3d 2 up to 10. Similar are the number of unpaired electrons. So when we calculate the magnetic moment by using that formula, what we find, for the 0 unpaired electrons, obviously the spin only magnetic moment is 0 and experimental value is obviously 0. For 1, it is 1.73 and the range of experimental value is 1.7 to 1.8. Similarly, when we move 2.84, 3.87 up to 5, you can remember this, it is 5.92. And then you can find that the pattern is like this. For 6, same is repeating, 3.87, 2.84. When we compare it with the experimental values, what we found that the range of the experimental values which is given here, in all these cases, this value mu, it is greater than mu s, but they are more than mu into mu s plus L, which are not shown here. So this means that contribution to magnetic moments due to the orbital motion of electrons is very small. In other words, what I want to say is orbital moments, they are completely or partly quenched. Now what's the reason? The reason is if there is a metal in the center, the ligands, it is surrounded by the ligands. So ligands, they also have the electric field. So this electric field of the ligands around the metal ion, it restricts the orbital motion of the electrons. Hence the orbit moment, they are quenched. And one thing more, in case of the lanthanides, what we observe that the unpaired electrons, they occupy the 4f orbitals, which are well shielded by 5s and 5p. So that means no quenching of orbital momentum is possible here. Hence magnetic moments of lanthanides, they are due to the both spin and orbit moment. So this also happens in second and third row transition elements. Now we come to the measurement of the magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic moments are not measured directly, but from magnetic susceptibility, it is possible to measure the magnetic moment. What is magnetic susceptibility? Magnetic susceptibility, it is noted by chi symbol, is defined as a measure of the capacity of a substance to take up magnetization in an applied magnetic field. It is given by B equal to H plus 4 pi I. What is H here? It is the strength of magnetic moment. B is the magnetic induction or magnetic flux intensity. I is the intensity of magnetization. Now if I divide this equation number 1 by H, what I get is B by H is equal to 1 plus 4 pi I upon H. Now this factor I upon H, it is called the magnetic susceptibility per unit volume or the volume susceptibility. The symbol is called kappa. B by H is the magnetic permeability of the substance. So what is the physical significance of this equation? In vacuum, B by H, it is equal to 1. So 1 is equal to 1 plus 4 by K if I put in equation number 3. So K, that is the volume susceptibility, is 0. Now it is important to note that susceptibility of diamagnetic substance is negative because B by H is less than 1, and that of the paramagnetic substance is positive because B by H is greater than 1. Now in case of solids where we calculate the masses, so molar susceptibility used, it is noted by chi m, and it is given by chi m, it is equal to kappa m upon rho, where m is the molecular weight of the substance and rho is the density. So in the next lecture, we will discuss about the methods to determine the magnetic moment. Thank you.